Chris, here we are, another big fight. This is bigger than the other big fights though, isn't it? This is bigger than DeGale. This is bigger, I guess, than Groves and all the others because of the name value, right? Ben versus Eubank. Did you ever think this could happen?
Versus Ben.
I like the way you just corrected me there.
Yeah.
Eubank versus Ben. Did you ever think this was going to happen?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I always knew there was a chance that we would end up fighting each other. There's too much nostalgia, there's too much history, there's too much excitement and fantasy about it for it not to happen at some point. Now, did I think it was going to happen this quickly? No. After I beat Liam Williams, you know, Conor Benn was not on my radar.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's been doing his thing. He's on a hot streak. He's knocking guys out. He's getting bigger and stronger, and he's putting himself into a position where the fight makes sense at this moment in time. Financially, promotionally, physically, the fight can be made. He wants it. He says he's going to beat me. He's going to be the first man to stop me.
Says he's going to knock you out.
Yeah, you know, it's incredible to hear. My job now is to show him what boxing really is. He's never been in a fight like this before. He's never been in a super fight. I have. I know the world stage. I know the big fights. I know what it's like to walk out in front of 20,000. That's my comfort zone. This is all new to him. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he handles it.
So many big fights for you out there at 160 or 168, right? I know you've campaigned there. I do think your best weight is 160. Is this bigger than, obviously, look, Canelo and GGG are the ones, right? But aside from those two, is this bigger than the other options at 160 or 168?
Yeah. I mean, Canelo and GGG, those are the marquee names. But in terms of like British boxing,
yeah,
there's no fight bigger than this. You know, before the fight was even announced, we were both on the front page of magazines. You know, just because of the whispers.
Yeah,
that's how excited people got.
Was you surprised about the reaction on social media? People went crazy when it was announced. Bear in mind, we kind of got hints from yourself and Chris that it's going to happen. So I thought maybe when the announcement happened that people might be a bit, we kind of knew it was going to happen anyway. Twitter broke. People went crazy. Like, you got the older generation because of the nostalgia. They got the younger generation that know you and Conor. Were you surprised?
No. I know what this fight is to a lot of people. People are emotionally invested in the Eubank Ben dynasties, the history, the blood that's been spilled. It's British heritage, you know. It's folklore. It's legend. And for those two legends to have the fights that they had, captivating the public, becoming superstars, for those two legends to have sons and fight 30 years later, it's unheard of.
Yeah,
it's never happened before in the history of boxing.
No,
and it will never happen again. That is what excites me about this. That was the driving factor on me accepting this fight. Yes, there's a lot of money to be made. Yes, there's, you know, the profile and the hype and this, you know, the sponsorship, but this is a first in history. That's what excites me.
Was you surprised he wanted the fight? Bear in mind, you are the guy at world level, right? We know that. You're on the cusp of a world title shot. With Ben, yes, he's looked good recently, but the opponents, you know, have been guys, former faded guys. So there's clearly levels between you in terms of what we've seen so far. Were you surprised that he's taken what most perceive a big jump up to face someone that is bigger naturally at world level?
He hasn't taken anything. I took the fight. I was sent the contract from them. They had to persuade me to get into the ring.
Was you surprised then that they reached out to you Because a lot of the talk before was you versus Brook, or potentially him versus Brook. There wasn't much conversation about Conor Benn versus Eubank. That wasn't what people were thinking. Was you surprised that they reached out
this early? Yeah. But again, it does make sense. It's a great business move for him. He has nothing to lose.
Does he not?
If he wins, he's a superstar.
Yeah.
If he wins, he's his own name, and he's out of his father's shadow for the rest of his life. He's making the most money he's ever made. If he loses, he was too early.
Yeah.
The weight jump was a bit too much. It's win-win for him. It's lose-lose for me.
So all the pressure's on you.
I would say so. If I lose, I'm finished.
That's what they will say.
I can't lose to Conor Benn and then say, oh, give me a title shot at middleweight. Can't do it.
No.
If I win, as far as I am aware, I'm not going to get any credit. You were supposed to beat him anyway. Even though I'm hearing, 70% of the interviews that I hear right now, I'm going to lose. It's incredible. It's incredible watching people in the industry, not just fans, people like that are actually in boxing.
No, I think you're a favourite. I think people will say you're the favourite to win.
Maybe in the betting.
Yeah.
Maybe in the bets, but in terms of what I'm seeing online, I'm seeing him as the favourite in terms of what people are saying. That's just what I see.
Does that bother you?
Does it bother me? No, it doesn't bother me. I can't be bothered anymore. I've been through too much throughout my career. Nothing surprises me anymore. All my fights for the last 5 years have been 50-50 fights. This is a 50-50 fight from what I'm seeing on social media.
Is it 50-50 in your eyes?
Absolutely not.
Go on then, what is it? 70-30, 80-20, 90-10?
I mean, it's a physical impossibility for him to stay in the ring with me for any amount of time.
Yeah.
It just can't happen.
Talk to me about that physical impossibility. You're in great shape already. So you've obviously started, well, this is just how you are actually. Every time I see you, you're very, very lean anyway. When I see you on the scales at 160 now, I don't see how a couple pounds come off the body. Like, I can't see it. I mean, look, I'm no, strength and conditioner, but I work out and think, okay, where do we take another 2.5, 3 pounds off? How do you get down to the weight limit?
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be painful. It's going to be horrible. But this is the one fight which is worth it. And not only coming down to a weight which I haven't been since I was 18 years old, then the restrictions of how much I can put back on after. Two things that I have never done, and I thought I'd done it all in boxing, and I haven't. It's going to be rough. It's going to hurt, but
it's all worth it in the end.
Absolutely. For this type of fight, to be able to give the fans this unimaginable fantasy fight, it's worth it going through what I'm going to have to go through.
Has your dad been in touch with regards to making this fight? Was he a bit sort of apprehensive about doing it? Did he want to do it?
He wanted me to wait.
Yeah.
He wanted me to wait until maybe a year's time, build the fight. Both of you get some more wins under your belt. It makes the fight bigger. Build the fight, build the hype. Have it in a football stadium in the summer of next year.
Which it can easily do, by the way.
Absolutely.
I mean, O2 Arena is nice and it's a fantastic venue. We all love it. You fought there before, but this easily could do a stadium.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was his advice. Now, a lot can happen in a year's time. Yes, there's more money to be made if you go that route.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I wasn't willing to risk not taking what was in front of me.
Mm.
I've done that before in the past with certain things in my career and in life. Something's in front of me, and let me wait. Let me not rush. Not to say this is rushed, but let me wait for a more perfect time.
Yeah.
And then those opportunities, they fade away.
Yeah, we always say that about you, right? Everyone said, oh, we've missed out on the big ones with Chris, whether it be the GGG fight, whether it be other fights in America, Charlo. Is that kind of the experience that made you say, no, I'm not waiting for this, I'm signing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's here in front of me. It's now, it's current. People want it. It can be made. And if by some miracle of God, he's able to be competitive in there with me.
I thought you were going to say beat you. You're just saying be competitive.
No, that's...
So it's a miracle of God thing for him to be competitive.
Yes. If he can somehow survive and make it seem like that, there is, oh, it was a close fight. It could have gone either way. If that miracle happens, then we can have a rematch in the stadium next year anyway.
True. Yeah.
Now, I don't think that's how it's going to go. That's my opinion. But that's the amazing thing about boxing. You never know until you know.
Are you impressed with him as a boxer?
I'm impressed with him because I know what he's had to go through. I know the path that he's walking. I've walked it myself. The pressures of having to live up to a legend and walk in that shadow, it's tough. And most people on the planet could never even make it to the top of this sport just by, without the pressure of having to be compared to their father who's a legend.
Yeah.
That triple, that makes it just so much harder. The odds are just stacked so much more against you. And he's going through that, and he's doing his thing. He's putting on performances. He's building his profile. He's making a name for himself. I respect that.
Yeah.
Because I had to do the same thing.
Can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
Just a favor. I've never asked you a favor before. Can you ring walk to Simply the Best? I mean, can you just give us that as fans for the nostalgia?
If that does happen,
it has to happen, Chris.
Well,
Chris, it has to.
When the fans buy their pay-per-view package to DAZN, you will find out whether it's going to happen or not.
True.
You have to subscribe to find out if that ring walk happens.
Finally, do you think he goes the distance with you? Do you think he can go the distance?
I mean, just listen. This is boxing. Anything can happen. Logan Paul can fight Floyd Mayweather. Mike Tyson can fight Roy Jones at 55 years old. These are all things that you just would never even dream of, but they happened.
They're 1 in a million things.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a 1 in a million. Okay.
So I'm just saying, crazier things have happened. So he could, by some miracle, make it the 12 rounds. By some miracle of God, he could catch me with an amazing left hook in the 8th round, and I just never saw it coming, and I'm down on the canvas. It could happen, but I don't see it. I've done too much. I've been through too much. I've faced too much adversity for someone like Conor Benn to bring anything to the table that I can't deal with. And obviously, the great thing about it is that he doesn't see it that way, and a lot of people don't see it that way.
Yeah, he's team confident. As you say, they reached out to you. They sent you the contract over. They would never have done that unless they think they can beat you.
So a lot of people are seeing something that I don't see. I'm not perfect. I think I know a lot in boxing, but could I be wrong? We're going to find out in a couple months.
Is your dad going to be in the corner?
I hope so. I would love for him to be.
This is fantastic, isn't it? Oh, this is exciting. Oh, come on.
I mean, what a story that would be for my old man to be in the corner, Nigel Benn to be in Conor's corner. It's the stuff of
the yellow shorts,
of legend. But I haven't spoken to my old man about this yet. as crazy as that sounds, he's gone missing. He's MIA. I haven't heard from him. And this is the biggest fight of my career. How does that happen? I don't know. But within the coming days or weeks or however long it takes for him to resurface, we will sit down and have the conversation, and you know, I'm gonna tell him, listen, I want you in my corner. I want you in my camp. Do you want to be there? And we'll find out what he says.
I'm sure he will be, Chris. I'm sure he will be. Chris, good luck. Sounds like you don't really need it, but good luck. Should be an absolute cracking fight. Remember, October 8th, live on DAZN pay-per-view. Will he walk out to Simply the Best? There's only one way to tune in and find out. Chris, I want to touch on the weight again if we can. Look, we're not going to talk about the weight specifically in terms of the numbers, but there has been a conversation about if you come in a pound over, the fine's ridiculous. Like really, 6-figure fine, a big fine. What if it does get to the stage though where, you know, you are at 160, you're at 159, and that extra pound is difficult to strip off, and it's going to be, you know how difficult it is to make weight. Do you just take the fine?
You know, one thing that everybody knows about me is that I'm a consummate professional. If I say I'm going to make a weight, I'm going to make a weight. I'm not paying a 6-figure sum for being a pound over. I respect money. And I respect contracts and my word. So no, I'm not coming in at 160. I'm not coming in at 159.
You've not been that low though since 2013, 2014, I think, where you came in at 158.
I think I came in at 158 and a half in 2014, and that was a mistake. My scales were off, and
okay, so you thought you was coming in at 160?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you
my
just
scales were
done that
messed
to prove
up.
how fit you were and look,
No.
I can drop the weight. Okay.
No, my scales were off, so I was cutting weight that I didn't have to cut, and I felt terrible doing it, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I got on the scales and I was 158 and a half, and I was like, what the hell? How did I just lose a pound and a half in 2 minutes? I just weighed myself and I was 160 on that scale, and then we realized, okay, the scale was wrong. That's only ever happened one time. You know, the rest of my career, especially in those early years, you know, I was 163, 164, 162. So that was a complete mistake. And I remember how bad I felt getting to that 168 and a half. So, yeah, you know, this is not a weight I'm comfortable at. It's not a weight that I'm used to getting to, but
you will make the weight.
Boxing is a sacrifice, you know, and we are, you know, the rewards are too great to mess this up, you know.
Agreed.
because if I do come in at a certain weight, they can say the fight is not going to go ahead. You know, that is in the contract. If you don't make this weight, we can pull out. I'm not going to go through all of this to then not fight at the end of the day.
I know there will be riots if we don't see Ben, or should I say Eubank versus Ben. Yeah, I don't make that same mistake twice. Quick one on him saying he can knock you out. I remember watching the George Groves fight, and I remember seeing on the fight night how much bigger George Groves was than you.
Yeah, about 20 pounds, 15, 20
huge,
pounds.
right? And George Groves, we all know can punch. I think we all remember seeing him against Carl Froch. He can put anyone down, and he wasn't able to. Do you then kind of smirk when someone like Conor, who is a big puncher, but not at that level, not at world level, says he can knock you out? Bear in mind, you've been hit by really big, strong guys at super middle.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another reason why this weight is not actually as crazy as some people may think. Because yes, I did fight George Groves, and he was 20 pounds heavier than me. Me and Conor are going to be within 5 pounds of each other, within 3 pounds of each other on the night. So it's not some crazy thing that's going to happen. But yeah, you know, for him to say that he's going to knock me out, it's incredible. It's fantastic. It is crazy in my opinion. But you know, people are saying, oh well, you know, Eubank, he's getting old. He doesn't
32.
He doesn't really have that fire anymore. You know, he's a playboy now, and he plays poker, and you know, Roy Jones has changed him. He doesn't have that killer instinct anymore. This is the narrative that is being painted as to why Conor Benn can win. You know, you guys are going to find out in a couple of months whether any of that is true or not.